We need to talk about the Madam Web film. The film managed to be the worst production ever made by a huge film studio of the millennium. I'm not kidding, I think practically nothing in this film is saved. If the movie was so bad, why did Sony decide to release it anyway? That's what we're going to answer in today's video. So stay until the end, I'll save you from watching this shame. Subscribe to the channel and like the video for more content like this. Take the opportunity to suggest the theme for the next video below in the comments. The Madam Web film premiered in 2023. As a theoretically Marvel film, a minimum standard of quality was expected, or at least coherence in the narrative. That's not what happened. I think practically nothing in the film can be saved. It's all so bad, I don't even know where to start. To start at the beginning, I'm going to talk about the premise of the film. Cassandra Webb is a paramedic, who rescues people with an ambulance. Her co-worker is none other than Ben Parker. Yes, he is Ben Parker, the man who is supposed to be Spider-Man's uncle in the future. During the film, it is shown that Ben's sister is pregnant, obviously with Peter Parker, who would become Spider-Man in the future. Which Spider-Man would he be? We don't have that exact information, but considering that the film takes place in 2003, it would most likely be Tom Holland's Spider-Man, as the date wouldn't make sense for the other two. In fact, it doesn't even make sense for Tom Holland's Spidey, because between Civil War and Homecoming, he should have been around 15 years old. Therefore, the film already started with continuity holes. Who is this Peter Parker who was born in 2003? It can only be another one that we haven't yet met in the films. The pregnancy story basically functions as a background for the film, when in fact the main story focuses on Cassandra Webb and 3 teenage girls. In fact, they were so boring that I don't even remember their names. Honestly, I didn't even bother to memorize their names. Cassandra has to be a kind of babysitter for them, as they don't have the slightest sense and would have been killed in the first scene, if it weren't for the help of the script. It all started many years ago. Cassandra Webb's mother is pregnant, obviously with the film's protagonist. She's another one who I can't even remember her name. Upon discovering that her baby daughter will be born with some illness, the woman runs to the Peruvian Amazon, looking for a rare spider, a kind of panacea so that her baby can be born healthy. The woman is already 9 months pregnant and yet she decides to travel to the end of the world to look for a business that might not even exist. Once there, her partner, Ezekiel Sims, helps her find the magical spider. I remember the name of this one, because he will be the villain of the film, years later. So when they find it, he reveals himself to be a villain and shoots her, so he can steal the spider. This is when the film's first absurdity occurs. Before being shot, Cassandra's mother tells him not to do that because they could help people and cure illnesses. He tells her that he doesn't care, because no one helped him in the past when he was hungry. I am not kidding. This is literally his motivation. He wants power all to himself, because he thinks he has suffered enough and deserves to be rewarded for it. So he shoots her, walks away and leaves the pregnant woman there to die alone in the middle of nowhere. Soon after, some natives of the region, dressed in a low-budget Spider-Man cosplay, find her and take her to a lake. They use one of the magical spiders on her and she gives birth in the lake, after being bitten by a spider. And meanwhile the crazy starving guy was running away, taking one of the magical spiders. The baby was born healthy, without the illness she would have had. So in a way, the Amazon trail worked, but only for the baby. Cassandra's mother died right there, from the gunshot she had taken. Nobody knows how, but Cassandra Webb grew up in the USA, in New York City, and became a paramedic. The film doesn't tell how she left the middle of nowhere and arrived in New York, but it follows the film. That's when we return to the year 2003, where the rest of the film takes place. During one of the paramedic calls she receives, she accidentally falls into the water, almost drowning. After this near-death experience, she begins to see the future, but only random visions. Apparently, this power came from the venom of the spider that bit her mother shortly before she was born. At the same time, the citizen who killed Cassandra's mother, is also living in New York. Out of nowhere, he dreams that 3 spider women are going to kill him. He also has the powers of the magical Amazonian spider, so he can see the future. Only he doesn't know who these people are, but he wants to kill them before they kill him, probably years in the future. So this guy Ezekiel Sims decides he needs to find out who the spider women are before they find him. So he, being a very powerful man, pulls strings to get the government's facial recognition technology to find them. You'll laugh at this part, but I need to tell you. The guy literally takes a screenshot of their masked face from his dream. Don't ask me how, but he takes the image from the dream, puts it into artificial intelligence to remove the mask, rejuvenates their face, and feeds the image into the government's facial recognition software. I am not kidding. In the year 2003, Ezekiel Sims already has a kind of scroll dream machine, which takes high-definition images of his dream. If that wasn't enough, he can still see their faces behind the mask and rejuvenate them, all with technology from 2003. Technology like that doesn't even exist today, he simply does it with the greatest ease in the world. When he magically discovers the girls' identities, he conveniently finds all 3 of them on the same subway, through security cameras. Are they together? Absolutely not. This is the day they would meet. Seriously, what are the chances? What are the chances of him meeting the 3 at the exact place and time when they will meet for the first time? Paradoxically, he appears dressed as a low-budget Spider-Man, to try to kill them. Ironically, this assassination attempt is what brings the 3 together. Coincidentally, Cassandra Webb is on the same subway at the same time, as she had visions that she should be there to protect the girls. So, using the power of reading the script, she stops him from killing the 3 and manages to escape with them, stealing a New York taxi and hiding in the woods. At that time, Cassandra Webb was wanted by the police for the alleged kidnapping of the 3 teenagers, when that was not exactly what happened. This is another point in the film that I don't understand. Did the taxi not have a tracker? So the 3 annoying teenagers keep disturbing her, and she decides to go out to look for answers. She leaves the girls in the middle of the woods and tells them not to leave, but of course they don't obey. Instead, they go to a diner full of people, even though they know that by now the police are already looking for the 4 of them. Once there, instead of eating and leaving like normal people, they decide to flirt with a group of strange boys and dance to the song Toxic by Britney Spears on the table. I am not kidding. They get on the table and start dancing to the song to impress the guys. The 3 girls almost have just been assassinated by a low-budget Spider-Man. The only job they had there was not to attract attention, and they couldn't even do that. Obviously, Ezekiel Sims discovers where they are, as they simply cannot fly under the radar, they are so stupid. Then Cassandra has a vision of Ezekiel Sims finding and killing them and rushes to prevent it from happening by crashing the taxi right into the diner, causing thousands of dollars in damage to public and private property by destroying the taxi and the diner. They run away and Cassandra takes them to a hotel, so they can stay hidden until they decide what to do. That's when they talk, to try to find out what's happening and what to do. Each girl tells her story, but the only thing the 3 have in common is the fact that they don't have a father present. I'm not kidding, each one has a father who is dead, or traveling, or deported or something like that. And because one of them is an illegal immigrant, they cannot go to the police, as she would also be deported. Honestly, if there's a crazy person dressed as Spider-Man hunting me, I'd feel safer if they deported me. So Cassandra Webb leaves the girls with Ben Parker, who is worried that his nephew could be born at any moment. His pregnant sister lives with him, so he needs to take her to the hospital when the baby is born. Cassandra decides that she needs to go to the Peruvian Amazon, find out about this spider, as everything is connected, like a web. I'm not kidding, she dumps the girls with Spider-Man's uncle and goes on an international trip. She simply travels 3,000 miles from New York to Peru to find the same cave where she was born. There she intends to discover more about her origin and her clairvoyance powers. I'm not kidding, she comes and goes in a matter of a day or 2. She must have taken a plane, boat and bus into the forest to get there, and magically she can get there and back in a very short time. Only by plane, it takes more than 12 hours to travel. If you count the round trip, the time more than doubles. The film doesn't show how she got there, how long it took, or anything like that. While Cassandra is away, Uncle Ben's pregnant sister goes into labor. Then they all have to rush to the hospital so the baby can be born. What I didn't understand was why they didn't just leave the 3 girls there, since they were being searched throughout the city and by Ezekiel Sims. That's what I would have done, but since this entire movie makes zero sense, that's the least of the problems. So through emergency calls and the city's security cameras, Ezekiel Sims finds them going to the hospital. The guy is like Big Brother, he has eyes and ears everywhere. He runs out dressed as Spider-Man to kill the girls. Coincidentally, it's the same time Cassandra returns from Peru. I don't know how she managed to go, stay, and find the forest in the middle of nowhere and come back so quickly. Like I said, nothing in this movie makes sense. Using her incredible power to read the script, Cassandra predicts everything that will happen and manages it so that Ezekiel Sims doesn't kill the girls. There's a scene where Cassandra takes the ambulance and throws it off the building to hit Ezekiel. But he just wasn't in the direction of the ambulance, so he jumps to get hit. Again, I'm not kidding, he literally jumps to get hit by the ambulance. I told you that nothing in this movie made sense. Even though he was hit by an ambulance, low-budget Spider-Man has super strength and agility and continues to chase them. His objective is tireless, he wants to kill so as not to be killed in the future, even if that doesn't make much sense. So with the help of the script, the 3 beat him, as they have literally no other abilities other than the help of the script and Cassandra's power to see the future. That's basically the story of the film. Then you ask me, but where are the Spider-Women? How did they become superheroes? There is no such thing in the film. Literally every scene of her in the costumes was scenes from Ezekiel Sims' dream, which never really happened. They remain just 3 annoying teenagers who need parental love and to be saved all the time. Not to say that there are no more scenes of them in the costumes, there is even, at the end, indicating that much in the future they would gain powers, or something like that, but it is totally a use of them dressed in the dream scene. In fact, the entire film is a reuse of scenes and cut scenes, showing visions and reality. It's all very confusing and the film must have undergone several changes in post-production, as it is not possible for the actresses to have recorded it knowing that this result would come out. And speaking of reuse, in this final scene they even used a scene of a building from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man film, which had probably been stored in Sony's vaults for 20 years. I didn't understand the connection they tried to establish, but the entire film is not meant to be understood, that's a fact. What Sony tried to sell as a superhero film is actually a film that doesn't fit into any category. Drama, action, comedy? Anything. It was supposed to be a Madam Web origin movie, but in fact, most of the movie is Cassandra Webb being a paramedic and protecting the girls from their own stupidity. I'm not even going to talk about the film's terrible financial performance. When the film is bad, I talk about financial failure. But this film is a level above. In addition to the film not paying for itself, it also made a huge loss. I can't think of any other film that performed as poorly as this one. And the failure is not unjustified, it's because the film really is bad. The main reason is that it is literally false advertising. It's not a superhero movie. Low trick, Sony. But then the question arises. Why did Sony decide to make this film if everything indicated that it would be a bigger failure than Morbius? The answer is simple: copyright. Sony purchased the film rights to Spider-Man and all characters directly related to him. There is a rumor that one of the clauses in the purchase contract returns the rights to Marvel if no film about a certain character is made. So, in order not to lose the rights, Sony preferred to spend millions of dollars on films like Morbius, Venom and Madam Web, even though the total financial return was not satisfactory. There are also rumors about money laundering involving these films, but nothing that can be proven. Subscribe to the channel and like the video for more content like this. Take the opportunity to suggest the theme for the next video below in the comments. See you in the next video.